Finance Minister Professor Mthuli Ncube has announced a 276 billion ZIG budget against a GDP growth forecast of 6%, driven by anticipated recovery in the agriculture sector. The budget was themed Building Resilience for Sustained Economic Transformation. Our business correspondent Eben Mabunda breaks down the budget for us.
The budget is firmly anchored on transformative tax measures poised to reshape the nation's economic trajectory, as the Minister of Finance, Professor Mthuli Ncube, unveiled a 276 billion ZIG spending plan, the equivalent of $7.7 billion.
Revenue collections are estimated at 270.3 billion ZIG. The 2025 fiscal framework therefore provides for overall expenditures of 276.4 billion ZIG, or 20.1% of GDP.
The biggest allocation went to infrastructure, which was allotted 58.6 billion ZIG, followed by education at 56 billion, while the health fraternity was allocated 28.3 billion ZIG.
Therefore, resources amounting to 58.6 billion ZIG will be availed towards infrastructure investment, inclusive of intergovernmental fiscal transfers, or devolution funds for short.
While this speaks to allocations made to various ministries and pool of needs, the funds must be sourced from somewhere: taxes and duties. For serial bettors, a 20% withholding tax was introduced, which will eat into the gains of hundreds of thousands of bettors spread across the country.
In order to include punters in the tax base, I propose to introduce a 10% withholding tax on growth winnings of sports betting punters with the effect from 1 January 2025.
The sugar tax was reduced by 50%, as the tax-free threshold was revised upward to 2,800 ZIG from 1,356 ZIG, bringing some relief to the interim to taxpayers. However, plastic bag tax of 20% was introduced, which will increase the cost for the consumer.
I propose to adjust the local currency tax-free thresholds to 2,800 ZIG per month, and accordingly adjust the tax bands as follows, with effect from 1 January 2025.
Energy was one of the least funded needs, receiving an allocation of just 259 million ZIG and 1% of the national budget. However, a VAT exemption was extended to liquefied petroleum gas.
The areas where I personally believe they didn't meet my expectations, that's the energy sector right there, because of the spiral effect that the energy sector has on the overall economy. Talk of the mining sector, talk of all these key economies, right? They are running on power blackouts, and even the corporates that I was talking about.
The minister also said the raft of measures introduced would complement the monetary policy and fortify Zimbabwe's new currency, the ZIG. Eben Mabunda for ZTN Prime.
Now here are some of the important highlights on the proposed taxes in the 2025 national budget.
Napo Konapo, Ipapo, ba ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294, the place to be.